Hey guys, Jburton here, and this time I'm bringing you my PvP guide for Affliction Lock, patch 6.2.3, and like all the other guides, this will cover talents, glyphs, stats, and macros. Alright, let's just get right in. In the first tier, for level 15 talents, Dark Regeneration is a must. It's a big, 20% health over 12 seconds, it's pretty nice. Plus you take 25% increased healing. Your healer will appreciate this. Harvest Life you could take, maybe if you're more of like a really tankier build. 99.9% of the time, you're going to just want Dark Regeneration. Now the next tier, you can either take Howl of Terror or Shadow Fury. If you're versing like let's say in threes, if you're versing a comp where there's going to be a rogue sitting on you the entire match, you're going to have a hard time getting fears off on him or other people. Howl of Terror would be really good, because whenever you get hit, Howl of Terror's cooldown gets reduced by 1 second, so that's going to be getting refreshed quite a bit. A nice instant AoE fear can be helpful, but majority of the time I do take Shadow Fury. It just helps you interrupt important things like a mage's deep freeze into a sheep on your healer, or helps you set up a great fear. The next tier, majority of the time I will take Soul Link. A flat 20% damage reduction, which, because it gets transferred to your pet, it's really solid. The other two options are fairly viable. If you're running a 2v2 double DPS setup, and you're versing a burst comp on the other team, Dark Bargain would be good. Really live through a Pally's Wings or a Pharaoh's Incarnation, something like that. The next tier, really all three are viable in their own way. I like Unbound Will unless I'm versing like double melee or some type of rogue that's going to be sitting on me. Then Blood Horror is good to go. It's a horror effect instead of a fear, so it won't DR with your fear. That's what makes Blood Horror pretty awesome, because they'll just start sprinting away from you while they're horrified, and you just couple that with a nice full duration fear. But Unbound Will, a second trinket, pretty helpful. In this tier down here, for Affliction Lock, I really don't think Sacrifice is worth it, because the main thing, it'll increase your damage if you're Haunt. I really don't think it's worth it. At least with Grimoire Supremacy, you want to have a pet out. So that way, if you have your pet sitting on the healer the whole match, even if you're not in line of sight, as long as your pet's in line of sight, you can get that interrupt. You can be across the map and your pet's still on the healer, you can still get that interrupt. Really important. The reason why I'd say Supremacy is because it's a 20% damage increase for your pet, but you could take Grimoire Service as well for like a second interrupt. I believe it's on a 2-minute cooldown, but still, sometimes if you can just get double interrupts, that can be game changing. But most of the time, I take Grimoire Supremacy. The next tier, the only really viable one is Dark Soul. This is basically a heroism or bloodlust for warlocks. It's a 30% haste when you pop your Dark Soul. That's huge because haste is your most vital stat. So having 2 charges on that is just mandatory. And the next tier, Demonic Servitude's worthless because we want a pet that can interrupt spells like the Observer. Cataclysm, it's too hard to hit with. It's a 1-minute cooldown too. Haunt Soulburn, it just makes it where your dots are basically benefiting from Haunt, no matter who they're on. And this buff lasts for 30 seconds. A very good buff to have. Especially in threes, it really shines. So I would recommend Soulburn Haunt. Okay, let's go on to Glyphs. These are the 3 standard glyphs that I would use. Glyph of Eternal Resolve, it's just another flat 10% damage reduction on top of your Soul Link. Really good combo. Like, you are going to be tanky. Glyph of Soul Swap will let you do many things with it. The thing I love about it is I'll go ahead and store the 3 dots. When my Curse of Agony gets up to 10 stacks, that's when you're getting some good damage. You copy that. Immediately copy it to another person. Boom. Pop your Dark Soul, Trinket, Haunt, and just watch the damage go. Or you have the option, if you really know that Dispeller is getting Dispel happy, go and get your dots on somebody, copy it, get your dots on somebody else, and as soon as they get dispelled, boom, reapply them back onto that target. Glyph of Soul Swap just offers a lot of different options. Unstable Affliction, you get it out there a lot quicker. 25% reduced cast times, quite a bit. It brings it below a 1-second cast, so it's hard to interrupt, and you're spending less time casting dots. Some other talents you could probably take, I wouldn't recommend, but if you want to be more tanky, you could go Drain Life, Hellstone, Siphon Life, but these 3 right here is what I would mainly use. Okay, now stats. The main thing you're going to want is haste. As an Affliction lock, you get 5% more haste from everything. So you want to stack that haste as much as possible. Haste makes your dots tick faster, makes your fears go faster, makes your drained soul go faster. Everything to just make your dots do massive damage. And helps your CCs go up quicker. So haste is just absolutely mandatory. Next, I would go with mastery, because it also just is a flat damage increase to all your dots. With those two set up, you can really put out some DPS. As an Affliction lock, you only need to wear your 2-piece. The 4-set piece is pretty lackluster, so you can try to help minimize and maximize, important stats or whatever, just as long as you get your 2-piece. Okay, guys, and for macros, I haven't made them just yet. I'm gonna make a macro to fear arena target 1, 2, and 3, and then fear focus target. And then I'm gonna make an interrupt for focus, and then an interrupt for arena 1, 2, and 3. Some of the ones I did make that I really enjoy. Just a macro to make your pet go on passive. Usually, sometimes your pet will be following somebody behind a pillar, and their DPS are just start wrecking it, and you want to get your pet back. Pet passive instantly. Also, a macro to make your pet attack focus. This is important because a lot of times healers will go invisible, and your pet will drop target and attack something else. Or, like a hunter pet will taunt your pet off of the healer. That's bad, because then your pet's going to probably get out of line of sight of the healer, and you can't get that heal. So having a macro to just spam it probably like every 5 seconds. Just make sure your pet's sitting on that healer. Really important. And then of course make a macro for your pet's interrupt. Usually I just use a focus, but I'm going to make one for arena target 1, 2, and 3 as well. Okay, and that's pretty much it for my macros. I think I'll include those in the description as well. Alright guys, well thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, please comment, like, subscribe. It'll help me out and all my future content. See you later.